right, here we go. Here we are. Let me make sure we good. We good. Nice and straight on screen. All right, perfect. Here we go. Welcome to the Heat Check live beat review show right here on YouTube. I'm your host, Desmond A, here to give you, the producers, some really good feedback. Guys, let me finish my intro. So, who am I? If you don't know, well, my name is Desmond A. I'm a producer out here in Atlanta. Produced music for E! Television, Sci-Fi Channel, Bravo, multiple documentaries, music just about everywhere. Also, sold beats in person, online. I've done beat battles, recorded artists. I've recorded signed artists, indie artists, in nice studios, trap studios. So I've done just about everything, man. So that's given me some really good perspective on what's going on in the music game, and that's gonna help me help you improve as a producer. So if you dig that, make sure you stay tuned to the Heat Check right here. Now, the format of the Heat Check. So you go ahead and send in your beats. So you see the link in the description or the link up top, or excuse me, the link in the description for you to submit your beats for the show. So what happens is on Fridays, the free submissions close at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then it reopens after this live stream stops. And I play about a minute and a half of your beats, so that way it gives me a nice idea of what kind of beat that you made, and that I can go ahead and give you my feedback from there. Also here at the Heat Check, man, we don't snap, we don't roast. This is not a place to Jones and just play the dozens and giggle and kiki. If you want to do that, go somewhere else. This place is essentially like a dojo. We're here to help you grow. You know, if you go to a boxing ring, you go to a martial arts studio, does your sensei say, that knee strike is whack? Or, man, that jab is okay? No, they say, put some weight behind that jab. You know, pop your hip a little bit when you throw that knee strike and really move. You know, they're going to give you step-by-step instructions on how to improve. And that's what I do right here on the Heat Check. I give you real help and step-by-step instructions. So if you dig that, make sure you stay tuned. Also, guys, we're going to skip next Friday's show, and then we're going to return the following Friday. Just to let you guys know, of course, my Made in the Studio podcast is returning on Thursday, March 5th. So be on the lookout Thursday, March 5th. Have a platinum producer, man, very talented producer. All of the guests are very talented. That's why I picked them. But yes, a lot of good game. I'm asking some really good questions, really good information. So I need to make some extra space in my schedule for that. So you will see eventually the Heat Check going to bi-weekly instead of a weekly show on Fridays. So I just want to let you guys know, and also to be excited and to look forward to the Made in the Studio podcast, man. I'm very proud of it, man. Got some good shows already down pat, already recorded, editing now, and then I got some potential guests already in the pipeline, man. It's gonna be fire, man. Definitely taking over for 2026. Yeah, so that's about it, guys. Once again, the free submissions are closed. If you want to submit, make sure you go to the VIP Skip the Line in the description or tagged in the chat. You can go ahead and purchase a VIP Skip the Line, and I'll get you into today's show. And also, if you're a recording artist, you could do that. You could purchase the Skip the Line. This is normally a producer show, but if you're an artist, you want your song reviewed, if you purchase the $10 VIP, I will review your song as well. And I need to make a note to make that more public. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Today was going to be a light show here. Last week was very busy, so it looks like you guys got a lot of stuff off, but I am still here for you guys this Friday to give you your feedback. All right. Starting from the tip top, we have Lavas Beats with Project 126. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's take a listen.
You want to go to war? We'll take you to war.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Lava's Beats with Project 126. Thank you so much for submitting your beats right here on the Heat Check. Now, Lava's Beats. You know, that beat, musically, it had some potential. It had a lot of potential. But there was a couple of things going on there that really, threw things off of what it could actually be. Number one, this the first thing that jumped out at me was it sounds like you hitting your limiter really hard. Either that or some type of drum bus you're hitting hard with a limiter. I could hear this grabbiness. It's like this weird pumping sound that's happening with the limiter. Try not to do that with the limiter. Let me see if I can pull out a limiter here just so I can show you guys something. All right, so let's see here. What is the Waves limiter called? What is it? L5? L4? Okay, let's pull out the L4. I thought there was an L5. Okay, yes, L4. So I was right. Okay, let me make sure you guys can see this on my screen. Okay. So, when we're using a limiter, I usually like to do this, put the ceiling at either 0.1 or 0.3. And I don't let the attenuation go too far, man. I don't want to have to do too much here. So, whenever you're using your limiter, just don't let the attenuation just drop all the way down to like 9 and 3 and things like that. Don't let it do too much, because at the end of the day, me, other engineers, other producers, if an artist wants to use this beat, they're just gonna go ahead and use the gain right here to just mess with the volume and how loud it is, so you don't have to use a limiter to just smash it as hard as possible. Sometimes people feel like having things be louder means that it's more powerful, and that's not necessarily true. You're squashing everything, and that's why things look like a brick. And if you just blast this out loud on studio speakers, we're not gonna be able to really hear the low end. And that's another point of feedback I was gonna give you, was on the low end. And adding to the low end issue is the squashing with the limiter. The lower end sounds, I heard like the piano and the bass, it just sounded real mushy and almost kind of blurry and just kind of mashed together. We really want to have like separation. And also I'm hearing like clashing notes. It almost sounds like musically, like the piano was clashing with the bass. So what we want to do is we want to be able to have things kind of live in their own space. We want the bass to be subby. We want the piano to hit like the low mid range, but without getting on top of the bass. So, please, like, take some time, learn some of the basics of EQ and limiting. Of course, you could check out my 7 steps to a better sound and beat mix on DesmondASounds.com. You'll be able to get some good tips there. If you want to invest in yourself, you can get my Drum Doctor beat mixing course. That's on Desmond A Sounds as well, if you want to purchase that. But other than that, just take some time to get the instruments to live in their own place, in their own spots, in their own pockets. Watch the dissonance of the sounds clashing together. And then on top of that, don't squash your sound so much. It's just messing up the dynamics and just blurring and mushing all the sounds together. So, but it definitely had potential, man. Definitely had potential. I could hear it there. I could hear the energy. I was kind of getting like Kate Tronado vibes at times. But let's go ahead and do those tips, and you should be good to go. And keep submitting here on the Heat Check. I'll be glad to give you any type of feedback that you need on your journey. So keep submitting, and I will be here to help. All right. Moving forward, we have JQUP with Smurf. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was JQUP, JAEQUP with Smurf. So shout out to you. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Jay, the first thing that stood out to me on that beat, well, first of all, let me start by saying this. I do appreciate you stepping out of the beaten path of, just standard trap beats and things like that and actually trying something different. And, you're putting new stuff out there in the game, so I definitely appreciate you for doing that. What's going on, Millie? Shout out to you, Millie, in the chat. Shout out to you. I got your submissions here. So, Jay, the first thing that stood out to me was sound selection. It felt like you had, and I'm more specifically talking about the drums, it sounds like you selected a lot of what you had there in like some type of stock kit. I'm hearing a lot of like stock kind of acoustic sounds that you're selecting in that beat. And it makes it not have that professional polish, that professional continuity and glue that we look for in a lot of beats. It's kind of like putting on an outfit and then having accessories that kind of throw things off. It's like, I can see where they're going with that outfit, but those things that, the necklace, the bracelet, that color that's around the collar, it's just, I see where they were going with it, but it's just a little off. So it's the same thing when we don't have the drums like quite fitting the instruments or the sample. What I would do, what I would recommend is listening to producers who you are inspired by, whoever they are. Maybe there's even type beat producers that you like online. You just like their style. You know, put your ego to the side. It's hard for us producers sometimes, and just really be a student and listen to how they're selecting their drums. Listen to what kind of kicks they're using on, you know, soul beats, boom bap beats, and try to get the drum patterns to texture wise fit. So like if you hear a couple beats by some producers that you're inspired by, listen to the drum pattern and then go inside your kits, your drum sounds, your drum kits, and try to emulate and imitate what they're doing. That's going to teach you a lot. It's going to teach you a lot about playing with pitch, stacking drums, truncating the tail of drums, and having that things not ring out. And it's just going to help you skip the line in the learning process. Just imitate, copy verbatim, and then eventually you'll know how to select it for your specific style of beats. So that's the main thing. Also, I really like the 808 in that beat. I don't know where you got that 808 from. If you're feeling generous, please, you know, DM it to me on my Discord. Guys, make sure you subscribe to my Discord in the description. I'd appreciate it if you did DM it to me in my Discord. That's a very fire 808. But yeah, other than that, another thing I would say is also kind of look out for the structure of your beat. This didn't sound too repetitive. It had some nice ups and downs. But if you're going to put this for a recording artist, we may want to have a bit more separation between the verse and the hooks and things like this. I'm kind of getting like background music, almost like Adult Swim kind of vibes from this beat. But I'm thinking you more so want this to actually go for a recording artist. So I just want to put that out there. But yes, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for submitting to the Heat Check. And I'll be glad to help you on your music production journey. All right, moving forward. All right. Came right in time, Millie Beats. We have Millie Beats in the building, and I have his first submission of the night. This one is called Sky Drive. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
God damn, Millie, you're bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Millie Beats with Sky Drive. Shout out to you, Millie Beats, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Millie Beats. Man, overall, that was definitely a good beat. I could definitely easily tell the difference between the hook and the verse. And rappers definitely love that. They love a beat that's just well structured, where they could just go ahead and just sit in the studio and write to it. They don't have to do too much thinking. They don't have to ask the engineer to move this and cut that and move that over there. They already know where they're supposed to go. So that's definitely going to help you out. And you also have a lot of space in your beat as well. I know a lot of those West Coast beats do, those YG West Coast beats do tend to have a lot of space in them, but yes, it's a good thing to have a lot of space because it's, once again, easier for the rappers to rap on it. Now, as far as constructive criticism, one thing that jumped out at me at first was the that Moog bass that you have. It's working, but a part of me wants to just change something here. Hopefully this doesn't sound too weird since we have the whole beat going. So I wanted to do this to the bass. So let's see here. Might sound weird because I got everything going. So, but just listen to the Moog bass. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. All right, here we go. There we go. Right there, perfect. I just wanted to tame some of that high end of the Moog bass, so it's nice and it's nice and tucked in. Had just a little too much bite, a little too much presence, and once I did that nice little shelving right there, you could tell that Moog bass sounds nice and smooth. This sounds right where it needs to be. So watch me A and B it real quick here. Okay, so that's with it. With my shelving, and I'm gonna turn it off. On with the shelving, and I'm gonna take it off. Hear how it's like real bitey. It just sounds like not as smooth and cool. So add a nice little vibe to it with that shelving. So I would do that. I was just talking about the bass more specifically, that Moog bass more specifically. Wow. Just put it on there, put that EQ on there. It sounds a lot smoother. And if you like how it sounds, a little darker, a little more subdued in the high end, definitely give that a try as well. It's all an experiment. So yes, it does sound good. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Millie Beats. One other thing I was hearing in that beat as well is I was hearing the 808 that you had going on later in the beat. We can get away with it. The 808 that you had going, it just sounded like maybe the 808 might have been off by a semitone. So let me play that. Yeah. I almost wanted to go boo, 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 boo. That's good. Boo. That's good. Boo, boo, boo. That's just kind of a creative thing I was hearing. Messing with that 808 boo, 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 boo. That's what I was hearing musically. This is a hip hop beat. You already have the melody going and it's really nice. So an artist, a rapper will still take this beat with how you had the 808s, but that's just a tip I want to put out there to help you make this beat just a bit more musical with everything else that you got going on. But good beat overall, man. You definitely have been improving, man. I'm still shocked that you use FL Studio Mobile. A lot of people will be shocked by that, but it just goes to show it's not the gear. We have all these debates about gear, even on my videos, my long form videos, all these debates about gear and what DAW and who's a real producer. And at the end of the day, we have Millie here making fire beats on FL Studio Mobile, man. So shout out to you, Millie Beats, and shout out to all the producers out there using BandLab, FL Studio Mobile, and not making any excuses. They're cooking up with what they have, and once they able to get other equipment, then they'll be more than ready to take that on. All right, moving forward, next submission we have Millie Beats once again with Spicy. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's take a listen.
God damn, Millie, you bad. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Millie Beats with Spicy. All right, shout out to you, Millie Beats. Yes, the 808s are in key. Yes, yes, they are in key. If you're speaking about this beat, yes. So Millie Beats. This is definitely a good beat. One thing that threw me off was the intro of this beat. That the Moog bass that you chose was good, but it was just a little busy. You kind of like, you had it going, you had a lot of it going. So let's play that intro again, like the intro and hook. That boom 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 boom. That boom 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 boom. That one that part was a bit too much. I kind of wanted to be a little more laid back, a little more player, a little more smooth. And that part right there just was like, it was just a little too much. So let's try to simplify that just the pattern of that Moog bass that you had there, because once the beat actually hit and I heard the 808s, I was like, okay, this is a good beat. But I was a little worried from the intro and the Moog bass. I was like, where's this going? And then I was pleasantly surprised. But we still want to keep the recording artists engaged, and you know, we want them to actually get to the point where things actually drop. So just, you know, don't whoa 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 whoa. You know, they're gonna use their voice to kind of fill in the spaces. And that's the thing about working with recording artists in person. You start to pick up that they listen to things a little bit different than producers. Sometimes we typically end up doing too much when we're cooking up beats by ourselves, but when we're actually in the studio with artists, and if you start to do that, Millie Beats get in the studio with artists, you'll notice how little you actually have to do before they're actually ready to hop in the booth and make a song, man. I've been shocked. I have been shocked by making just the most basic thing, then hearing the artist mumble behind me, and then they're just ready to go record. I'm like, whoa. So we tend to overfill things as producers since we make beats by ourselves. So I just want to drop that little gem in there for you, Millie Beats. Also, you did the stutter thing again, which was cool, but it didn't quite hit. It didn't quite come back correctly. So I know a lot of West Coast beats do that, but it didn't quite land correctly when you did that stutter. So let's play it again. See that clap kind of hit? Is that bump? It's like I wanted that one more time. Boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom, boom. So, but with that clap came in kind of weird on the last one. See that? It's really that clap kind of threw things off. And when you do a stutter like that, it's supposed to pull the artist in more. Like, oh snap! Like if there's just ladies in the studio, they're supposed to be like, oh snap, you know. So we want things to like add to it, and they don't want to be like, oh, wait a minute, like how am I supposed to come back in? So kind of watch those stutters that you do and make sure it comes back right. So that clap there was a bit strange. But yeah, that's it, man. So shout out to you, Millie Beats. Shout out to you, Millie Beats, man. Keep grinding. You're improving every week, every month, every time the heat check comes on, man. So keep cooking up those fire beats. Once again, I'm skipping next Friday's show. Then we'll be here the following Friday. So, you can have a whole new batch. It happens to me every day when I do that. It happens to me every day when I do that. Yeah, man. So with that stutter thing, my thing is just take your time with it. Sometimes whenever we get our beats done and we're ready to hit that export button, we need to take a little extra second. Sometimes you need to step away from the beat, go walk, go drink some water, go do some push-ups, whatever you do. Go watch a little YouTube video, a short YouTube video. Don't get distracted. And then come back and then do something like that with fresh ears. Sometimes we want to push through like, I just want to get this part off and hit export. So just, kind of watch that, take your time and get the stutter right. If you can't get it perfectly right, then just go ahead and take it out. And then, the engineer will of course add it in for the recording artist if they see fit, if they see that they need it. So yes. But shout out to you, Millie Beats. Keep on grinding. All right, moving forward, we have JVN World with We the Hood. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was JVN World with We the Hood. So shout out to you, JVN World, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, JVN World, let me start by saying, man, I definitely appreciate you going back to that simpler style that I've mentioned before. I believe you probably, checked out your review the last show, man. You got something with this simple style that you have. And once you master this, you're gonna dust a lot of producers who think they got the most fire, crazy strings and crazy, theme anthem stuff. And I'm telling you, once you nail this sound, you're gonna play the beat. Maybe another producer in the studio will be like, yeah, that's cool. And then the engineer will try to move on. The artist is gonna hit him on the shoulder. Wait. I'm telling you. That's a great feeling, man. That's a great feeling because other producers are like, man, but the kick ain't snapping hard and the snare ain't extra crispy. The artist is like, look, man, we can fix that later. I got a zone. I got a song in my head and I can get this out. So let's make sure we keep working on this JVN World so we can really lock in. Now, the main thing that stood out in this beat for me, man, was the 808s were out of key. 808s are out of key, except the last one, that lowest one, the lowest 808 that you had was in key, which is kind of strange because usually the low sounds people have a hard time hearing. So let's see. I'm going to try something out here since this is a light show. Let's see if I can do this. So hopefully I don't mess up. Okay. Okay, let me try this. Put the sound picture on it. Okay. It'd be nice if I turn on the volume. Okay. This keeps getting moved. Sorry about that, guys. All right, let's get this here. Put this over here. All right. That's out of key. So I just pushed things up an octave, and what we're gonna listen to the 808 and listen to how it's easier to tell to the human ear that it's out of key. So let's listen. It's gonna sound really weird, so I apologize for this, JVN World. Not messing up your beat, just as a teaching lesson. So. Out of key. In key. So you hear that? Can you guys hear the difference? So I just pushed things up 12 semitones, which is an octave. 12 semitones is an octave, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, yes. Sorry, guys. So, yes, we just pushed things up an octave, right? And since I pushed things up an octave, things are higher pitch, and the human ear reacts more sensitively to higher frequency sounds. If you're at the park or you're at the store and you hear something scattering and it sounds like it could be a squirrel, it could be a mouse or something, your ear is going to perceive it much easier due to the human. That's just how our ears are, how our ears evolved over time to hear sounds, higher pitch frequencies like that. So once I pitch things up an octave, you could hear that. So what I want for you, JVN World, and what I want for other producers to do is to get those 808s and push them up an octave. And if you have to, push them up 2 octaves and make sure that you could hear that. As soon as I used that plugin and made things higher pitch, you can instantly tell that 808 was out of key. But when I put it back normal, when you listen to it normally, it's like, it sounds a little off, but I'm not quite sure how much. When I pushed it up, you was like, oh man, I can instantly hear it. So guys, when you're in your DAW, push those 808s up and listen. Get them right, get them sounding right, get them sounding musical, then put them down an octave. Get them sounding right. Okay. And then if that's the octave that it's in, keep it there. And if it goes a lower octave, push it down there. So that's a great way to keep your 808s in key and to, man, keep them beats sounding fire. So JVM World, I think once you get that locked in, you'll be good to go because you have something going there, man. So please continue to cook up JVN World, and please continue to submit on the Heat Check, and I'll be glad to help you in your music production journey. All right, moving forward, we have Dancing Main with There's No Hope. All right, let me make sure I got rid of that plug-in. All right, there we go. So we're going to go ahead and play this beat by Dancing Main. All right, Dancing Main, shout out to you. I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Dancing Main with There's No Hope. All right, shout out to you, Dancing Main, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Dancing Main. Sorry, I kind of stuttered for a second. You know, it sounds like you were trying to push yourself, man. That wasn't. It had Dancing Main elements to it, but that wasn't the standard Dancing Main format. So that's definitely appreciated. And Dancing Main, once again, man, it sounds like you got this sound where you can lock in with the recording artist and you guys just do whole entire projects. So I hope that you're out there just, you know, hitting people up, IG, TikTok, YouTube, and seeing what you can make happen, man. I just set small goals, you know, 3 artists a week, 4 artists a week, and those, you know, 4 artists a week adds up week after week after week after week, and you never know who you could really connect with it, man, and grow with. So just Dancing Main, please make sure you're reaching out to artists and do it on a consistent basis, some type of schedule, so you can make sure that you're making an impact over time, and then 6 months from now, you could have like 3 recording artists who want to lock you in as their main producer that can work out some type of deal because you have a distinct sound and you have variety within your distinct sound, which is also valuable. Now, Dancing Main, one of the first things that stood out to me about this beat was the bass and that guitar sample that you had going on were they were mushing and getting mushy on top of each other. We want to have some separation. We want to have that guitar living in its own space, and we want to have that bass, that real life bass, going into its own separate section or its own separate space to live in. And one great way to do that is, I'm guessing you probably have this plugin. Somehow, almost every producer in the game has Waves plugin. I don't know how you guys get it. That's crazy. But yeah, so everybody has Waves plugin. So this one Waves plugin should be good for you on this particular bass. Hopefully, all right, perfect. So you may want to put you're going to want to put CLA bass on that bass. It's just going to give you some nice separation, particularly, I would say, the growl. Mess with the growl on CLA bass, and I think you're going to get some really good separation, and you're going to tell a world of difference. And after you put it on and then take it off and A and B it, you're going to be like, wow, that sounds so much better. So work with the growl and CLA bass. I say growl and probably maybe a little bit of the treble here. These two are really going to lock you in, so you should be good. So distortion and treble and CLA bass, mess with those two. Don't do too much, just slide them around, get them sounding good, and it's going to help separate that bass from that guitar sample. So shout out to CLA bass, definitely a classic plugin. So that's going to help the beat out. Let me listen to a little bit of the beat again. Let's see. Yeah, that CLA bass is going to put things where it needs to be, man. So yeah, that's the main thing with that beat. And also, as far as other constructive feedback on this beat, there was a vocal sample that you added. Let me see what that was. Yeah, here, this extra vocal sample that you added. This kind of sounds like a woman's voice. You might want to just keep that, tell me what you want me to do, because that part fits musically. The other parts sound off. It kind of creates this weird, spooky kind of sound, but I think that tell me what you want me to do is more musical, and you can even repeat it. Just repeat it. Tell me what you want me to do. And just give it a little bit. Tell me what you want me to do. And then that helps to fit the title of the beat, There's No Hope. There you go. There's no hope. Tell me what you want me to do. Those two things play off of each other and complement each other. And you can maybe even take the other vocal part that you had going on there with the telephone effect and have that tell me what you want me to do as the main hook, as the main thing that's going to have the recording artist come up with the song to your beat. There's no hope. Tell me what you want me to do. Those two things come together like peanut butter and jelly, and it's going to be easy, especially for the texture, the aesthetics of this beat. It's just going to be, I'm getting like, I want to say I'm getting Eminem vibes. It doesn't sound like an Eminem beat, but I'm getting that type of artist. And I was listening to Eminem in the gym yesterday. So yes, I think that's gonna really set that beat going. And hey, man, when you get your record deal, Dancing Maine, don't forget about me. I don't care if you get an indie record deal, man. It could be for an indie label, but you definitely got it. All right, moving forward, another submission right here from Dancing Maine. Hope is only a saying. Okay, shout out to you, Dancing Maine. Hope you good over there, man. What's up with these song titles? So yeah, shout out to you, Dancing Man. Let's go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Dancing Maine with Hope is Only a Saying. So shout out to you, Dancing Maine. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Dancing Maine, another good beat, another consistent beat from you. One thing that really stood out to me on that beat, well, the main points of feedback. The first thing was the bass and the kick relationship on this beat. I felt like the bass was dominating the kick a little bit too much. So let's go ahead and make sure I'm centered on screen, guys. I'll be moving around. So the bass and the kick, it felt like the bass was just dominating it and the kick was starting to get buried, right? So let's go ahead and pull the bass down. It's a sub bass. It's gonna live in the same sub frequency. So let's go ahead and pull the volume down. Boom, right around here. Let that kick punch through. Then let that sub bass live a little bit further down so we can just hit this. The kick is hitting, the kick is punching the speakers, then the sub bass is just rumbling. It was just a little too dominant. Let's just pull it down a little bit down here. Let that kick punch through. All right. Other than that, also your snare that you had going on there, I would tell you to switch the snare out, but I don't think you probably don't have to do that. One thing you could do with the snare is to pitch it down. It felt a bit off musically. It felt like it's almost like eating a meal and then someone adds this extra seasoning to it, or like an extra sauce that you never tried before. Then you eat it and it's like, okay. Maybe the sauce is a little too sweet. Like, this sauce should be a little spicier. It shouldn't be as sweet. That's what it felt like with that snare. It felt like it gave me that same feeling. It's like, it's there, but let's make it there. Let's pull it there. When I say pull it there, I mean pitch that snare down so it's more musical and it fits the tone of the beat more. So just get into your whatever DAW that you're using, get that pitch knob, play the beat, and as you're playing the beat, start pitching it down until you like where it's at. Keep it, and then A and B it. Hit undo, listen to where the snare was, hit redo, listen to where the snare is now, and then I promise you're gonna hear a great big musical difference, and you're gonna thank me for it. So shout out to you, Dancing Maine. Keep cooking up that fire. And once again, once you get that record deal, man, don't forget about me here at the Heat Check. So shout out to you, Dancing Maine. All right, moving forward, we have PH Beats with Stop. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. Before I do that, guys, don't forget to go to DesmondASounds.com to get free FL Studio Patcher plugins, free loops, free guides, have guides on Pro Tools. If you got AI is coming, guys. A lot of you guys are figuring out where you're going musically. I've been talking about in some of my video on demands, having beat making as a service in major recording studios. So major recording studios are using Pro Tools, guys. Make sure you get that Pro Tools guide that I made by hand, did all the screenshots. These are real shortcuts that you're gonna need, not a generic list that somebody Googled. I use these shortcuts and it has saved me. So guys, make sure you get that. Get the FL Studio Patcher plugins. My Super Clipper plugin, man, that one is stupid. It is silly. So let me show you guys Super Clipper here really quickly before we get into the next submission, man. Super Clipper. This one is killing Soft Clipper because it's kind of essentially made out of Soft Clipper and a couple other things. So go ahead and use Super Clipper. You can go ahead and clip your sounds, decide if you want soft clipping, decide if you want it to go into hard clipping. Go ahead and mess with the tone, get things nice and musically tight, and then go ahead and turn off and on the power. That's how you can A and B things, man. That's one of the main gems, one of the first gems I learned from one of my engineering mentors is always A and B things to make sure you make things sound better and not just different. So go to DesmondASounds.com. Get that for free and help yourself grow as a producer. All right, moving forward, we have PH Beats with Stop. I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat. mute my mic and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was PH Beats with Stop. All right. Thank you so much for your submission, PH Beats, and I appreciate you for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, PH Beats, man. Definitely appreciate the sample. You trying, once again, things off the beat and path, and that's always great to do. Everybody can't make the same trap style beats every day, so it's definitely good that you're trying something different. Now, one of the first things that stood out to me on that beat was how loud that kick was in comparison to the rest of the music. Sometimes producers will do this thinking that a kick being just disproportionately louder than the music means that it's gonna be banging, like, oh man, I'm gonna kill him with this kick. But it just feels off balance. It just feels like it's too much. So we need to dial that kick back and just let it be a bit more in relationship, congruent, coherent, closer to the sample that you had going on. It's just way too loud. I would say you might have been trying to fight for space, which is another reason why kicks are super loud. I don't think you had that issue here. Yeah, because the sample's not doing too much in the low mids. So yeah, you definitely don't need to have the kick super loud. You should have no problem dialing it back and having it fit a bit better with the music. Another thing that I was hearing in that beat is some of those 808s were out of key. I don't want to do this every time to every beat, but I'm going to just do this here once again really quickly here. PH Beats is go ahead and make this beat, push this beat up an octave. That way it's way more obvious that the 808s are out of key as opposed to when we have it in the lower frequencies and it's just a bit harder for the human ear to perceive. So, and I mean no offense when I do this. I know we don't like our music messed with. We don't like our stuff played with. I get that, but it's just for teaching purposes. I'm gonna go ahead and pitch things up. So. Not in key. Not in key. Boo. When does it go? Boo. 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 And then when you have that boo, then you pitch down. Boo. It's gonna sound right whenever you pitch it back down. So once again, once we pitch things up an octave, it is super obvious to the human ear that we need to change where the 808 is on our piano roll to get it in key. So let's go ahead and do that and we'll be good to go. PH Beats. other than that, other than the 808 and the kick being too loud, another thing that threw me off on that beat was the little drop that you had there. It felt abrupt. It didn't really feel musical. It just felt like it came out of nowhere. You know, that can be good at times to have little drops like that, but something about that just didn't feel musical. You know, sometimes those drops can be done right before we go from the verse to the hook, or the end of the verse, or the end of the hook back into the verse. And it's just a nice way to tell the listener we're going from one part of the story to another part of the story. And that drop in particular right there just felt off musically. I almost thought that I knocked something out, and we don't want to do that. It didn't add tension. It just added an off vibe and off feel. So we don't need that drop right there in particular. So after you get the kicks leveled, the 808s and key, it's gonna be much easier for me to judge that beat. But yeah, its beat wasn't really too long. I think you formatted it for the show, which was definitely appreciated. But yeah, man, keep cooking up, keep making those beats. What I would tell you, PH Beats, is which is something that one of the guests in the Made in the Studio podcast mentioned, that I recorded. This episode's not out yet. It will be out next month. Is to just straight up remake other producers' beats, as a way to teach yourself certain things. And this producer who said that is very accomplished, platinum producer, and he'll still, despite how long he's been in the game, remake another producer's beat, and it's gonna teach him something, and it's a way that he gets out of beat block. So I haven't remade another producer's beat in a while, but I would want you to do that just to help create different guidelines for you to know how to play certain sounds in your beat. So it takes us putting our ego aside, but it's definitely a valuable lesson. I did in the beginning, and then after speaking to this platinum producer for the Made in the Studio podcast, it reinforced that it's still something that can be done even now, at another producer's point in their career. So if he can do it, and it's good for him and it's helping him make all these hits, then definitely everyone else can do it as well. You don't have to release the beat that you remade of another producer. Just the process in itself helps to make you a bit more creative, or gives you more tools in your mental toolbox. So, all right, guys. All right. So this was a short show, but we made it to an hour. You know, these shorter shows with the less amount of submissions almost feel like a classroom where there's less students in the classroom, so I can focus and really get in there and give you guys some detailed feedback. So, you know, just because there's not too many submissions in certain episodes that we do, sometimes it's filled to the brim where the whole list is filled. But man, sometimes I do enjoy these shorter shows, these more intimate shows here for the Heat Check, because I just, you know, I can go in there and really help you guys one by one. So I definitely enjoy that, man. So, all right. So the Heat Check next episode will be not this upcoming Friday, but the Friday after that. And once again, the Made in the Studio podcast will be returning March 5th, Thursday, March 5th. So got a lot of great stuff coming in March. So guys, keep cooking up them fire beats. Got more game coming out, more videos on my YouTube channel. You guys see it. Make sure you guys subscribe to my Discord. Got a lot of great stuff there, man. Just trying to be a vessel of value for you guys and this community as time goes on. Just keep growing each and every year. And yeah, I'm definitely appreciative. I am here to help you guys. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys the Friday after next. Keep cooking up those beats, and I will see you then.